This sound predates even the pyramids. Before the foundation stones of ancient civilizations were laid, Indian sages sat under the open sky, absorbing sacred vibrations. But these were not the kinds of prayers we think of today. They were subtle frequencies, mystical codes spoken aloud to influence even the forces of nature. Vedic texts tell us that these priests summoned clouds, saved crops, and even ignited fire without a single spark, all through these mantras. The sound rises slowly like the echo of the Gayatri chant. It wasn't magic. It was the science of ritual. And today, modern scientists are beginning to study how these ancient vibrations affect the brain, the breath, and even the weather. So, tell me, how much of this is myth and how much is measurable power? Let's explore this mystery together. Imagine a mantra that wipes the dust off your mind and reveals the diamond hidden underneath. I've come to take you on a journey where words are not just sounds, but steps of energy, climbing towards something higher. Today, we will arrive at the doorway of ancient wisdom, rediscovered by modern science after thousands of years. First, let's understand one thing together. Our mind jumps like a monkey, restless, noisy, easily distracted by the chaos of daily life. A mantra acts like a magnet, pulling this mind gently back to center. It's not just a religious ritual. It's a tool to shape your consciousness. A sound-sculpted stone on which you can carve your new destiny. Imagine if subtle sound waves could speak directly to your bloodstream or unlock new paths within your brain. If that's true, then this knowledge shouldn't be limited to temples or ashrams. That's the secret we'll uncover today. How a simple seed sound rewires your nervous system, how the weight of stress melts into a flowing river of peace, and how this science can transform your everyday challenges into inner discipline. I'll show you how the same mantra that Vedic sages once described as the protector of the mind is now telling a new story on brain scan machines in modern labs. We'll listen to echoes that travel from Tibetan valleys and temple walls, now arriving through your speakers. We'll learn how Japanese Zen monks reach deep silence by repeating just one phrase, again and again, so deep that neuroscientists are linking that silence to the birth of new neurons. This journey will lead us through 5 gates. But these are not ordinary gates. They are levels of consciousness, inviting you to descend deeper into your own being. At the first gate, we'll enter the mystery of where mantras are born. Words not yet spoken, yet already resonating through the nervous system of the universe. At the second gate, we'll see what happens when sound enters the body, how every cell, like a lotus in water, begins to blossom. You will feel that you are not merely listening, you are becoming the vibration itself. The third gate brings us to the point of resonance, the moment when sound erupts from silence. This is where silence speaks and sound listens. At the fourth gate, the vibration collides with the reality of your life, your fears, your stress, your inner battles. Here, the mantra becomes your mirror, maybe even your medicine. And at the fifth and final gate, you are no longer the listener. You become the divine vibration itself. An echo that doesn't resound outside, but within you, eternally and endlessly. And so, I invite you, for the next 7 days, practice one mantra each day. One gate, one light of the soul. Then return and share what kind of sunrise happened within you. Take a deep breath. Drop your shoulders. Open the door to your heart's inner temple. Because the next moment will connect you with an ancient resonance that has been waiting, just for you, for lifetimes. Imagine a silent night thousands of years ago. A flame of Vedic Agnihotra flickers in the distance. A lone ascetic closes his eyes and utters the first mantra. There is no language in that sound, just vibration. A touch that travels through space and lands in the heart. That's a mantra. A mantra is not just something that binds the mind, it's something that liberates it. In Sanskrit, 2 seed syllables form the word, man meaning mind, and tra meaning tool or instrument. When combined, they form mantra, a sonic tool that drops anchor in the storm of your thoughts. Now walk with me back a bit. The soil of the Indus Valley breaks open. The stones may crumble, but the posture etched onto ancient seals still smiles today. The rishis believed the universe is one grand symphony. Nad Brahma, sound is God. The Vedas identify the original sound as the symbol of the divine trinity, creation, preservation, and destruction, all held in one crescent-shaped tone. Since then, every mantra has been an echo of that primal sound, like a river forever murmuring the memory of its source. But mantras did not grow up only in India. When Tibetan Buddhists chant Om Mani Padme Hum, they are blooming a lotus of compassion in the heart's ocean. The Christians have their Kyrie eleison, the Sufis their Ho, the Shintos their Kami-sama. Every civilization has forged its own melodic weapon in the battle for inner wisdom. Sound is the bridge that lets us cross oceans of time and culture. Now let's turn toward modern laboratories. Neuroscientists at Harvard use fMRI machines and see that when a practitioner chants mantras consistently, the brain's default mode network becomes quiet. That's the region filled with countless scattered thoughts. But during chanting, it becomes still, like the unwavering flame of a lamp. This is called neuroplasticity. The brain starts building new pathways. Old stress scars fade. Peace begins to shape new patterns. And the science of sound goes even deeper. When you say Ram, your tongue hits the roof of your mouth, producing a frequency that mirrors the rhythm of your heartbeat. Ultrasonic imaging shows how this vibration increases subtle blood flow near the Vagbhav Kunda, a sacred point in the body. Just as ripples spread across the surface of a lake, these microwaves swim through the fluid around your cells, signaling the body. Peace has arrived. But the real miracle happens when a mantra becomes more than a word, when it turns into an experience. Like staring at a flame until your eyes fill with tears, the continuous chanting of a mantra melts inner resistance. At that moment, there's no sound and no listener, only a sensitive stillness, where the mind returns to its source. That's why ancient sages used to say, a mantra is not merely something you hear, it's an initiation, an awakening of something deep inside. When a master whispers a seed mantra into a disciple's ear, they're activating a hidden genome. Dormant DNA awakens as if from sleep. This is why a mantra requires more inner readiness than outer ritual. So, friend, the next time you chant Soham, remember, it's not just a sound, it's a ship, one that lowers you gently into the ocean of cosmic resonance. And on that ship, you are both the traveler and the captain. Until one day the words dissolve into silence, and that silence becomes you. Now we arrive at the second gate, a place where an unexpected paradox unfolds. On one hand, the ancient sages claimed that sound activates the subtle energy channels of the body. On the other, neuroscientists now reveal that the very same sound rewires the blueprint of your brain waves. So which of the two is true? The answer is both. Imagine your body as an ancient stringed instrument, like a divine vina. Every organ, every cell is one of its strings, and your mind is the most tightly wound of them all. When tension rises, that string nears the point of snapping. Mantras are the tuning fork that brings the instrument back in tune, just like how Krishna breathed new life into the broken flute of Sudama. Let's walk down the lanes of science. Recent studies on heart rate variability show that just 5 minutes of chanting can synchronize the heartbeat into a pattern known as the coherent state. This is the state where the heart and mind begin to dance in the same rhythm. The ancient Tantra texts called this state the rhythm of the divine heartbeat. Remember how the Greek philosopher Pythagoras once said that music is cosmic medicine? That very principle is now being applied through a device called binaural US, which sends sound frequencies into a patient's body to relieve physical pain. It's the same reasoning our ancestors hid in Vedic fire rituals, Tibetan singing bowls, and even the pulsing drums of African shamans. But the real secret runs deeper. In cymatics experiments, where sound is played over fine sand, the mantra vibrations formed a clear image that looked exactly like the sacred Sri Yantra, a divine diagram of 9 interlocking triangles. This same image is carved atop the sanctum of the Candaria Mahadev temple in Khajuraho. And astonishingly, a similar pattern has been observed in plasma wave data collected by NASA's deep space probes. So mantra vibrations don't just ring in your ears, they echo through the arteries of the cosmos. Now think, when stress lights a fire of cortisol in your brain, your nerves burn, and new memories are scorched before they can take root. But mantra repetition acts like a cooling bomb over that fire. In modern neurology, this is called the parasympathetic override, a reset button that shifts your body from fight or flight mode into heal and harmonize mode. And here lies a great misunderstanding. Many believe that to find peace, they must retreat to distant mountains. But the truth is, the mantra is your mobile ashram. You carry it in your breath and your voice. One rhythm, one chant, and suddenly your entire nervous system becomes a mountain. Steady, unmoved, still. Now close your eyes for a moment and listen. The next time you chant Soham, know this: So is the rising note of your inhale, and Ham is the falling note of your exhale. This is the same cycle counted in the breath of Brahma himself, thousands of years ago. And it's this cycle that gradually shifts your brain waves from delta to alpha, alpha to theta, until your body sleeps but your consciousness awakens. This is the forgotten truth. A mantra is not limited to a wooden rosary. It is the key to retuning your DNA. That's why the sages said, the world was born from sound. And when that sound returns to its source, the mountains bow and the oceans go still. Now step through the third gate. This is the place where a mantra stops being an idea and becomes a direct experience. Picture this: a deserted night, inside an ancient sun temple. Etched onto its walls is the same Sri Yantra whose form emerged from sand in the cymatics lab. As the first light of dawn touches those sacred triangles, the sanctum fills with golden fire, as if the stone is drinking in the sun itself. The same transformation can happen within you. If you let the mantra stand firm like stone, and allow your consciousness to fall on it like sunlight, your inner sanctum will also ignite. Think of your heart as a hidden temple. In the center of its ceiling hangs a subtle yantra, a geometric gateway. Each time you chant Aum Namah Shivaya, this inner yantra begins to turn ever so gently, fueling the dormant energy inside you. In tantric science, this is known as the heart lotus chakra, the secret blueprint of the cosmos tucked inside your chest. Now listen to this story. In Cambodia's Angkor Wat, there are 2 days each year when the sunrise aligns perfectly with the temple's central tower. Western astronomers call it the architecture of the sky. But ancient legends say that the temple was actually designed on the waves of mantra chanting. The architects spent months repeating the Gayatri mantra as they drew their blueprints. Those vibrations gave destiny to every brick, aligning the structure in perfect harmony with the sun. Even the Kaila Devi temple in the Rajasthani desert knows this secret. On the victory pillar, 729 sacred figures are carved, the same number as the pulse count of Aum as described by Patanjali in his texts on pranic velocity. This is no coincidence. It's a signal that mantra, mathematics, and stone are 3 expressions of one single mystery. Now let us go even deeper. When the mind is in deep sorrow, it begins to believe it is a prisoner of the body. But mantra reminds it that the body itself is a temple, its walls inscribed with the map of the universe. Just like in Buddhist tales of Indra's net, where each gem reflects the entire cosmos, so too does each of your cells carry the seed echo of mantra. And the moment you start repeating a mantra along with mindful breath, that seed begins to sprout. Slowly, its roots spread in every direction. Modern science calls this vagus nerve stimulation, the parasympathetic branch that brings the body into repair mode. But the sages called it Urdhva Reta, the upward current of energy rising toward the crown. Now pause and look within. Can you hear a soft rhythm in your chest? Maybe it's your heart drumming like a tabla. The mantra will soon play a raga on that drum. This is the moment where emotion, logic, and perception merge like streams under a waterfall, and for a brief moment you stop being I and become Soham. And this brings us to the third great teaching. A mantra is a key that unlocks stone, number, and consciousness into one single circle. And if you can sit at the center of that circle, your breath becomes the axis of the earth, and your chant can stir the stars. So sit in silence for a moment. Listen to the subtle music beneath your thoughts. And then, tell me in the comments, did you too hear the bells of an ancient temple echo within your chest? Let us now open the fourth gate, the mystery that only reveals itself to those who have learned to listen to the silence within. You've heard that a mantra is the vibration of the cosmos. But did you know that every illness, every fear, and every desire also has its own frequency? If the frequency of illness is distorted, then the frequency of healing is exact. If the mind is weighed down by doubt, only the sound of trust can bring it into harmony. This is where healing mantras are born, like Triambakam Yajame, gifted by Shiva himself, dripping from the nectar of immortality. The story goes that when the moon was suffering from a wasting disease, this mantra was chanted in his chamber for 12 nights. Each silver ray became a healing spell. Today, in a laboratory in Amsterdam, that same mantra is softly played on speakers in oncology wards. And patients say that during the pain of chemotherapy, it feels like a cool hand rests gently on their heads. But healing isn't just for the body. The cracks in your soul also need mending. That's where Soham comes in, reminding you with every breath that your existence is not this limited body. It is the infinite blue sky. And when the mind strays, mantras like Guru, Yoni, or Agni act as anchors, pulling your thoughts back with clarity, just like Krishna held the reins of Arjuna's wild horses. Now you might be wondering, which mantra is mine? Just listen quietly to your deepest need. If your body is in pain, the soft waves of Imreen Dai are your balm. If your heart is broken, and your sense of self has shattered, Prem will bloom the lotus within. And if your mind is foggy, Shri will strike like a lightning bolt of clarity. But a mantra is not just a word, it is a temple that needs an atmosphere. Choose the deep blue of pre-dawn, just before birds begin their song. Light a lamp, let its unblinking stillness soak up your mind's restlessness. Lay a mat on the ground. Sit with your spine straight as if your backbone were Mount Meru itself. Shape your lips into the sacred peak from which the mantra will flow like a river. Now we approach the fifth and final gate, the gate of self-mastery. Just as a warrior first touches the edge of his sword in reverence before wielding it, a seeker bows in silence before chanting, honoring the power he is about to awaken. First, your tongue will stumble, thoughts will clash, but this is the test. The Yoga Sutras say, practice and non-attachment are the two wings of the bird. When both are present, the mind soars skyward. So, for 7 days, listen to your own sound just 21 times a day, and write down what changes inside you. You'll notice something strange. Even the noise of city streets won't shake your peace. In the middle of heated meetings, a cool stream will flow within, and goals that once felt blurry will suddenly shine like sunbeams stretching across the sky. This is the sacred architecture of mantra, the clear lines etched on the inner walls of your being, where confusion has no place. Now we return to the ultimate truth. A day will come when the mantra will no longer leave your lips. It will arise from your heartbeat. Your breath will no longer be mere air, but a flowing river of resonance. And every step you take on the earth will imprint an invisible Sri Yantra as if the universe itself were echoing your presence. So welcome this moment. Write in the comments, I am listening. Let this be your blessing to this wave so it can ripple further. And if your awareness has climbed a new stair today, then become part of this journey. For centuries, we've stood outside those ancient temple gates. Now we stand before them, together. This is only the beginning. In the next breath, we will unveil deeper mysteries. Nad Brahma, the sound of the divine, is sleeping within you. Awaken it, and show the world that silence is the highest mantra. Having passed through all the gates, we now arrive in the eternal sanctum, where there is no beginning and no end. Here, sound and silence dissolve into one radiant beam, and that beam whispers to you, you are the very sound you've been searching for. Remember, when the universe first uttered Aum, it wasn't alone. Inside that sound were the names of all of us, just as a river carries the memory of the ocean in every drop. When you chant a mantra, you are not simply making sound. The cosmos is singing back through your voice. This is the place where history, science, religion, and philosophy hold hands. The rishis said, Tatvamasi, you are that. Kabir sang, where are you looking, my friend? I'm right here, beside you. And today, quantum physics is saying the same thing. All particles swirl in one invisible web. The words may differ, but the note is the same. Everything is connected, and the living bridge between it all is your consciousness. Now close your eyes and look within. Do you see that lamp glowing in your heart? the one just lit by the mantra's flame? It didn't eliminate the darkness. It transformed the shadows into golden light. This is the final teaching. What was once your darkness can become your radiance. What was once your obstacle can become your staircase, if you bathe it in the vibration of the mantra. In this moment, remember, you are not just a listener. You are a co-creator of Nad Brahma. When you say Soham, the universe learns your language. And when you fall into silence, the gods chant that silence as their mantra. So, dear friend, from this day forward, greet your first breath each morning as your first mantra. And every night, before sleep, place your hand on your heart and say, I am a part of the divine sound that never stops. You'll find that in the tangle of life, you are not pulling the threads alone. The whole cosmos becomes your helping hand, and the knots begin to untie themselves. And when life begins to overwhelm you, remember, the ocean isn't swallowing you. It's inviting you to merge with it. So take a deep breath, chant your mantra, and flow with it, because in the end, your inner voice and the great cosmic vibration will settle into the same eternal rhythm. A rhythm that never ends. A sacred music that is always playing.